said, you can learn anyone's secrets if you love them enough. So he used to say he talked to the flowers, and in the flowers would reveal their secrets. This is mysticism. This is finding the presence, the wisdom that is everywhere. He called nature the great broadcaster of God's wisdom, that it was speaking to him, probably literally, in a certain sense. He probably heard words. He certainly was inspired. And out of that somewhat different approach called Taoism, that's Tao, T-A-O, Taoism. Essentially, the text for that is the Tao Te Ching, which was written by Lao Tzu, or someone who compiled things and said they were written by Lao Tzu. I'm not really sure. But essentially, Lao Tzu was the author of the Tao Te Ching, and he took a different approach. In this approach, it was tune into the underlying nature, more or less like George Washington Carver, tune into the underlying nature of things, to this chaotic energy that has produced all that is, and see the beauty of the harmony that's created through that, flow with that, and everything you do will be natural and productive and good. Now, the most famous phrase of the Tao Te Ching are the first ones, which basically say, the Tao that can be named is not the Tao. And the Tao that you find is the nature of things. It is not a deity up there. It is emerging and is everything, and into that everything resides. And it is not like a separate thing. It is the Tao. You can't name it because it's so everywhere present. You can't see it because it infuses everything that is. It takes up no space, but it fills everything. This is the Tao. This is the presence. And for many of us who sit in this room, we have had moments when we were sitting in meditation or in stillness or just being out in nature, and that sinking in happens and we just go, there's silence, there's presence, there's the divine, there's however you want to say it. The way Lao Tzu said it is, that's the Tao. And one of the things about Taoism is it says humility is a great thing. Be like water. Don't be like a hard person. Be like a soft person. Yield. Make space. Don't command others. Allow things to unfold. Trust, essentially, that all this is one of the things that I think people feel when they come into this church is that there is a different underlying philosophy here, that essentially God is not angry at you. You do not have to make amends to that divine being. Your job is to know and to be who you should be in accordance with your higher nature, not your selfishness, not your neediness, or your anger, your aggression, but with this humility, this power, this presence which you share with everyone. And that as we move into that, we move into divine order, and we allow, surely we give our effort, but we do our effort and we release the outcome, at least to some degree. It isn't about us, this was about the doing. And we say things like, the universe is in charge. Pantheism, that God is in everything and is everything. And all things are God. And pantheism basically said the same thing. If you want to democratize a religion, you would call it, at the most extreme, you'd call it pantheistic. Or as we sang today, the God in me salutes the God in you. The presence of the divine that is in me is also in you. And if I look for you, or as George Washington Carver says, if I loved you enough, I would see it. we are looking for that experience, I think, where we don't see God as some distant authoritarian aspect, but something else, something that is present, that loves, that supports, that holds, that creates, that becomes, and then into that we reside back. And Einstein was not even halvesies about it. He was ferociously in favor of this, that we don't see a big guy in the sky making it, but that it emerges, and our job was to understand nature deeply enough that we could see the mysteries of it, or as Carver said, love it enough that we could experience it as our truth, as who we are. Many of you are troubled by much of what's happening in the world today. This might be a way of seeing it. To see the world as on a swinging experience. To yield where you can't fix. To open and to do where you can. To take no credit for success. To be humble in the process. To love the world and each other enough that you can see the truth of who you're talking to and the nature of reality. To be humble, not proud. To give without asking in return. This is a path. This is a path that I think many of you are already on. It is the nature of the Tao to be generous. So once you follow the path, then you can lighten up. All is well.